Her name was Dorothy. In 1958, she woke at 5:45 without an alarm. She cooked a full breakfast. She walked 4 miles on foot to the market and back. She washed the laundry by hand. She cooked 3 meals from scratch. She raised 3 children. She reset the house before 9:45 at night. She was 43 years old. She was never tired, not in the way you are tired right now. Her granddaughter asked her once, late in her life, what her secret was, how she kept going every single day without running out. Dorothy looked confused by the question. She said, "I never thought about it. There was just always something to do." Her granddaughter meant something different. She meant the kind of tired that doesn't go away, the tired that's still there after 8 hours of sleep, the tired that needs a product just to get through the afternoon. Dorothy had never experienced that kind of tired. Not because she was lucky, because she had never created the conditions for it to arrive. She had no Red Bull in her refrigerator. Red Bull did not exist until 1987. She had no Monster Energy. Monster would not launch until 2002. No Jolt Cola. Jolt wouldn't appear until 1985. No B12 patch. No magnesium supplement. No cortisol support capsule on the nightstand. No afternoon crash, because she had no morning spike to crash from. What Dorothy had were 10 habits so ordinary she never thought to name them. Nobody on her street named them either, because everyone on that street had them. 10 habits. None of them come in a can. None of them have a subscription. None of them require a credit card. This video is about what those habits were, and about what replaced them. Then something changed. Not the human body, not what a body actually needs in order to have energy. What changed is exactly what this video is about. Before number 10, subscribe. This is exactly what this channel is here to make. Number 10. Dorothy never stopped moving long enough to feel tired. Tuesday, October 7, 1958. From the moment her feet hit the floor at 5:45, they did not stop until 9:45 at night, not to exercise, not to reach a step goal. Simply because there was always something to do, and doing things meant moving. She made beds, she hung laundry, she walked to the market, she stood at the stove, she bent, carried, swept, climbed, reached, all day, without calling any of it a workout. Researchers at the Mayo Clinic have identified a measure called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, the energy burned through ordinary daily movement outside of formal exercise. Dr. James Levine at Mayo Clinic found that NEAT can differ by up to 2,000 calories per day between two people of similar size, primarily due to occupation and lifestyle. Dorothy was generating that difference before anyone had a name for what she was doing. By 9:45, her body had done the one thing that reliably produces deep, restorative sleep. It had spent itself completely, in the way the body knows how to recover from. The global fitness industry is now worth over $96 billion. Much of it sells the movement Dorothy got for free by walking to the butcher. Dorothy never had the product. Dorothy never had the problem either. Number 1 on this list is the habit the energy drink industry has spent the most money erasing. Number 1 is still coming. Stay with me. Number 9. Dorothy never had a sugar crash, because Dorothy never had a sugar spike. In 1958, there were no Doritos on Dorothy's counter. Doritos launched in 1966. No Pringles. Pringles arrived in 1968. No 3 o'clock granola bar. No vending machine in the hallway. No flavored protein bar with 30 grams of added sugar hidden behind a green label. When Dorothy ate, she ate a meal, a real one, at a real time, made of actual food. When the meal ended, the kitchen closed. Until the next meal. A 2021 study published in Nature Metabolism, Wyatt and colleagues, tracking over 1,000 participants with continuous glucose monitors, found that postprandial glucose dips are a stronger predictor of hunger and fatigue than the initial blood sugar spike. The crash drives the exhaustion. The crash is caused almost entirely by the type of food consumed, not the quantity. Dorothy ate food that did not spike her blood sugar sharply. She never crashed. She never needed a rescue product at 2:45 in the afternoon. Dorothy never had the product. Dorothy never had the problem either. Number 8. Dorothy slept at the same time every single night. 9:45. The clock on the kitchen wall. The same clock every night of the week, every week of the year, for 50 years. The human body's circadian clock regulates cortisol, the hormone responsible for morning alertness, based almost entirely on the consistency of sleep timing. When sleep is irregular, cortisol does not rise correctly in the morning. The body does not feel awake. It reaches for something to feel awake. Research published in the journal Sleep Health has linked irregular sleep schedules directly to suppressed morning cortisol and chronic low energy throughout the day. Dorothy did not need a research study. She needed a clock, the same clock, every night. The global sleep supplement industry reached $6.8 billion in 2023. Much of it manages the consequences of 9:45 becoming 1 in the morning. Dorothy never had the product. Dorothy never had the problem either. Number 7. Dorothy never skipped breakfast. 7 o'clock. Every morning, before the children were up, before the first task of the day, before anything else required of her. Not because she had read about breakfast, because that was when breakfast happened. The first meal of the day restores blood glucose to its operational baseline after an overnight fast. When that restoration is delayed, when coffee replaces food and the body runs on caffeine instead of actual fuel, blood sugar stays suppressed, cortisol rises to compensate, and the body runs a low-grade stress response all morning long. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition identified skipping breakfast as one of the most consistent predictors of afternoon energy collapse in otherwise healthy adults. Dorothy never had the product. Dorothy never had the problem either. Number 1 has no brand name. It cannot be packaged. It cannot be prescribed. Almost there. Number 6. Dorothy never sat still for more than an hour at a time. Not as a discipline, because sitting still for an hour at a stretch was simply not what her day contained. Research on sedentary behavior has found that prolonged, uninterrupted sitting suppresses the enzymes responsible for converting food into available energy. When those enzymes are suppressed, the body becomes measurably less able to produce energy from food, independent of sleep, diet, or fitness level. The television arrived in the average American home in 1953. By 1960, 55 million sets had been sold across the country. Dorothy had one. It stayed in the living room, watched in the evening. The first time all day she sat down by choice. The standing desk and active workstation market is now worth over $10 billion globally. It sells the uprightness Dorothy maintained simply by running her own household. Dorothy never had the product. Dorothy never had the problem either. Number 5. Dorothy had a reason to be awake, not a purpose in the motivational sense, a practical one. 3 children needed breakfast before school. The laundry could not do itself. The kitchen did not reset without someone to reset it. Psychologists studying energy and motivation have found that purpose-driven wakefulness, having a specific, immediate reason to function, produces a different cortisol and adrenaline response than alarm-driven wakefulness. The body mobilizes differently when it is genuinely needed. Dorothy was needed, every day, by specific people, for specific reasons. Her energy had somewhere immediate to go the moment she opened her eyes. The life purpose coaching and productivity industry is now worth over $15 billion globally. Much of it helps people find in a paid seminar the sense of being needed that Dorothy got for free before her feet hit the floor. Dorothy never had the product. Dorothy never had the problem either. Number 1 is closer. It is the simplest thing on this list, and the most expensive thing the industry ever managed to replace. Number 4. Dorothy drank water all day. Not because she tracked her intake, not because she owned a branded 40-ounce tumbler, because she was thirsty and water was what you drank when you were thirsty. A glass on the counter, filled from the tap every time she walked past. Research from the University of Connecticut's Human Performance Laboratory found that mild dehydration, as little as 1% of body weight lost in fluid, produces measurable declines in energy, mood, and concentration in women before thirst is fully registered. Dorothy stayed ahead of that threshold all day without measuring anything. The functional hydration market, electrolyte packets, vitamin water, hydration supplements, reached over $20 billion globally in 2023. It sells solutions to a problem Dorothy never had because she never stopped refilling the same glass from the same tap. Dorothy never had the product. Dorothy never had the problem either. Number 3. Dorothy spent time in natural daylight every single day. She hung the laundry outside. She walked to the market. She sat on the porch in the evening. She was not seeking light therapy. She was simply doing her life outside the house. The American Heart Association, in a scientific statement published in Circulation, confirmed that natural light exposure is the primary signal for synchronizing the body's circadian rhythms, regulating when cortisol rises, when melatonin releases, and when the body feels genuinely awake versus sluggish. Dorothy received this signal every day without thinking about it. The light therapy and circadian wellness device market is now worth over $1 billion globally. It sells morning light to people who spend their mornings indoors. Dorothy never had the product. Dorothy never had the problem either. Number 2. Dorothy ended every day completely. By 9:45, the dishes were done, the kitchen was closed, the children were in bed. There was nothing left to manage, solve, respond to, or worry about until morning. The modern evening is different. Email arrives at 10. A news notification fires at 11. The nervous system receives incoming demands until the moment the screen goes dark. The body cannot fully enter recovery mode when the mind is still receiving signals that work is not finished. Researchers have identified what they call cognitive arousal before sleep, the inability to mentally close the day, as a primary driver of non-restorative sleep and chronic morning fatigue. Dorothy's day closed because there was simply nothing left open. Dorothy never had the product. Dorothy never had the problem either. Number 1. Dorothy never thought about her energy. This is the one the energy drink industry has spent billions to make you forget, not because it is complicated, but because it is so simple it could never be sold. Dorothy did not monitor her energy levels. She did not optimize them, supplement them, track them, or discuss them. Energy existed the way breathing existed, as a background fact of a living body, not as a problem requiring daily management. The moment energy becomes something you are monitoring, something you fear running out of, something you build a morning ritual around defending, it begins to run out faster. Psychologists have documented what they call symptom hypervigilance, the measurable effect of repeatedly focusing attention on a bodily experience, which causes that experience to intensify rather than resolve. The entire energy management industry is built on one premise, that your energy is a finite resource you will run out of if you are not careful. Dorothy never received that premise. She moved through her day until it was done. In 1962, the first commercial energy drink, Lipovitan, produced by Taisho Pharmaceuticals in Japan, appeared on the market because Japanese office workers had become too sedentary and too removed from natural movement to sustain energy through a working day. The industry did not appear because human bodies changed. It appeared because human days changed. Dorothy's day had not changed yet. She never had the product. She never had the problem either. Dorothy passed away in 2002. She was 83 years old. Her granddaughter, clearing out the kitchen, found nothing on the shelves that belonged to the energy management industry. No Red Bull, no vitamin packets, no afternoon rescue product of any kind. She found a kettle, a percolator, a glass by the sink. Nobody at the funeral described Dorothy as someone with exceptional energy. They said she was someone who simply never stopped. 10 habits Dorothy never named, never purchased in a bottle, and never once thought to call an energy practice. She called it getting through the day. What changed between Dorothy's kitchen and yours was not what a human body needs in order to function. Those needs have not changed since 1958. What changed was who got paid when those needs were replaced by a $25 billion American industry built on the premise that you cannot make it through the afternoon without their product. Pick one thing from this list. Come back in the comments in a week and tell me what it did. If you are tired right now, tell me below. I read every single comment. The next video is already waiting.